science and arts. Joy 99.7 FM. Say it loud. Welcome to Say It Loud on Showbiz A-Z. This is where we speak truth and facts regarding Ghana's tourism culture and creative arts without fear or favor. So, something happened during the week. A neurosurgeon called Dr. Isabella Opoku did a post. And this post that she did sought to ridicule one Rich Love Odro, that former student of Insane Senior High School who made a controversial statement in math quiz a few years ago, about a year or two ago. This lady, no science and maths quiz was not the yardstick to measure how brilliant students are. I remember the backlash that came. There were various opinions after that. People were sharing the opinions here and there, while some were supporting her stance, others were not really for her. So Dr. Isabella did a post, and her post sought to congratulate Francisca Lamini, who was a finalist of the National Science and Maths quiz some time ago. And that post was to congratulate her for graduating from Harvard University. Now, the commendation of Francisca was not the problem, because yes, she deserved it. But what she did that really drew the attention of many and brought many onto her page to attack her one way or the other was running down of teasing her with her photography work and asking if she had made it in life. Not everybody can be a neurosurgeon, a doctor, a lawyer, an engineer, a pilot. Everybody has their own parts, and we all contribute to society in various ways. The content creator, the artists, the person who works with the camera, the photographer, the videographer, they all contribute to society in various and different ways. Painters, filmmakers, fashion designers, musicians, carpenters, architects, they're all as important as doctors, teachers, carpenters, whoever. So, but you see, the problem is not about Dr. Isabella. The problem is with our educational system. And we say this almost every time, that science is not the rival of arts. Art is not the rival of science. And it's because we focus so much on STEM education without considering STEAM education that also takes into consideration arts. For some of us who studied various courses, education system, we did doing a bit of science sometimes, doing a bit of sometimes. At a point, we realized that there is a connection between science and arts. So if somebody does an arts course, don't think that the person has nothing to do with science, and that if you are a scientist, if you do anything in the sciences and someone is in the arts or humanities, it means you are polar opposites and that there is no intersection. Music was studied as a science subject, and it was together with other courses like arithmetic, geometry, astronomy, and together they were called the quadrivium. And so you see, education is such that sometimes we try to separate people, separate theories, ideologies, forgetting that there are similarities at certain points in time. You see, when an artist like a musician, a painter, a filmmaker, when they're doing their work, they go through a scientific process. They go through experimentation, observation, hypothesis. They go through all that as well. And scientists also imagine possibilities. They rely on intuition. They use creativity to make discoveries. And that is art. So these two fields should not be fighting each other. If you've gone to a recording when an audio engineer is mixing the sound, that is physics, that is science. A musician creating music, there is a science to that as well. A filmmaker uses perspective, lighting, and all that to do. So, the problem in our society is the fact that we have limited that are revered by people, which is the sciences, forgetting that even before you become a successful scientist, to invent anything, to innovate anything, you need to be creative in the process, and that means there should be art in play. It is a very, very big issue that we need to address as far as our educational system is concerned. And I know that as much as we love STEM education, we are forgetting that there is something called art that can come into the equation to make it STEAM. And so our policymakers should pay attention to STEAM education as well. A society that trains only technical ability is lost, totally lost. And it's the reason science and arts should not be separated in any way in our education system. And this is the reason we're also calling on everybody in the system, everybody that has anything to do with art and science, about who is better and who has done best for the country. But we think about how we can come together to help grow society. Whoever has ears, let them hear.